What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, and for the first time since April, I believe.
That far back?
Yeah, it's been a long time. We've got John back in the studio for a HOTSPAR. How you doing,
Another
John?
spa,
I missed these.
I know.
All right, Jose Mourinho, let's get into it.
Come on,
start with that again. I'm sick of defending Jose Mourinho to the death. I'm happy that
Should we talk about that?
Do you want
to talk? Reflect? Do you want to reflect on that one anymore?
We're moving firmly on from Jose Mourinho.
All right.
Different era now. A new era.
Yeah.
Nuno's at the helm.
Yeah.
Season started with 2 wins out of 2 1-0 wins. But let's talk about some big news that's come out today. In terms of a transfer point of view, our talisman, the face of the club, not Lucas Moura, and as much as you like it to be, John, not Lucas Moura, but Harry Kane has put out a statement today confirming he is going to be staying at the club at least for this summer. That's all he said. Maybe they're back in for January, maybe next year, but he's staying at Tottenham, so that saga is now put to bed. Any chance of Spurs getting a big fee for Harry Kane looks like that's over. Spurs are keeping the star striker and arguably best striker in the Premier League. Is this a good thing for us? Are you happy, John?
I'm not happy about this.
Why are you not happy?
Because it's just a move that no one really wants. That's why.
No one?
Well, Kane doesn't want it, firstly, does he?
No.
He wants to go. So we've got a player that doesn't really want to be there. Could potentially... too close to the mic.
Yeah.
Apologies. We've got a player that doesn't really want to be there. And then it could also cause a bit of disruption in the dressing room, which it already has done with Lloris, right?
Why Lloris?
Didn't they have a bit of... They came to blows, didn't they?
Lloris
Is
and
that
Kane?
rumours?
Lloris and Kane?
It was a rumour.
It was a rumour, not confirmed. Okay.
I never heard about that.
I thought that was...
No,
I thought.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
no.
you heard about that? But it could cause a little bit of friction in the dressing room. And I would really like to see us build a team without Kane now. This is the perfect time to start a new generation of players without him. A little bit like Liverpool did with the selling of Coutinho. I think when Kane plays in our team, he's often the best player, no doubt. But what happens is everything has to go through Kane. Do you see what I mean? So if he has a bad game, the team has a bad game. If he has a good game, the team has a good game. You know what I mean? But when he's not in the side, we can build a team performance without him, like we saw against Man City, which was actually the best team performance we've seen for a long, long while. Probably even pre-Mourinho, I'd say, that performance, if we're being honest, you know. So that's why I think it was the perfect time to cut ties with Kane. Thank you for all the hard work you've done. Brilliant, talisman. But let's start this new cycle of players, this new generation of players, which you can feel is coming with the whole Nuno, revolution, if you want to call it that.
I understand.
So that's why I thought it'd be a perfect time to let Kane go, yeah.
But...
it's always a but.
But there's a big but. There's a big but. Look, best striker in the Premier League. Do you agree with that? Do you think he's the best striker in the Premier League?
Who
not agree on that premise?
Who else? There's not much else, is there?
Well, there you go. So best striker in the Premier League.
Lukaku might edge him for goals this season.
Maybe because he's playing for a better team.
Yeah.
But, Kane's the best striker in the Premier League. We've put a price on Harry Kane, 150 million, right? Which I think, for me, is totally a fair price for one of the best strikers in Europe. Even at 28, he's got 3 years left on his deal. Everyone says he's got injury problems, but you know what? Last season, was completely injury free. Didn't have one injury last season.
Well, he was out for. I think he had a knock, didn't he, with his ankles?
When? Not last season.
There was one game where he went off the pitch with both ankles. He did both his ankles in.
That was against Liverpool, and he was back next game.
I think he came back.
He was back next game. So I think in his injury freeing, yes, maybe previously he's had a few injuries, but he always bags at least 20 goals in the season. He guarantees you that.
18 he scored one year.
Yeah, 18 Premier League goals, you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying all competitions,
right.
He guarantee you 20 goals, and 18 he only got it because he was out for a few weeks, but he still played at least 29 games. You're not going to be able to adequately replace him. Especially this late stage in the window. Maybe if we planned earlier, it's possible, but this late stage window, you're going to be scrambling around. You're not going to be able to adequately replace a player like Harry Kane. You say he could cause friction in the dressing room, but personally, he's been there long enough that they can put that to one side easily. After 8 years at a club, everyone knows how much he's put in to Spurs.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I don't think just because one summer, when we've been 2 seasons outside Champions League, and he's the best striker in Europe, or one of the best strikers in Europe, and he's ambitious enough to want to go and challenge for bigger things because we're not in Champions League. I don't think just because he wants that for himself, other players will hold that against him. So I don't believe there'll be any friction.
How's it going to benefit us if he stays?
We have the best striker in the Premier League. How's that
Yeah,
not
we had
benefit?
it last season.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Okay. So we had one of the best wingers in Son. Should we get rid of Son as well? Because look what happened. We had him last season. We have to make use of that. It's not his fault that we didn't achieve what we needed to achieve.
What I'm saying is, like, we look no more likely to win anything this season with Kane as we did beginning of last season.
Yeah, if we change our approach under Nuno.
But we could if we used the money to reinvest and actually built on a new foundation. You know, with the new generation coming through.
If we sold Kane, we need to replace him with a striker who at least can shoulder some of the burden that he had, right? And that's going to cost you at least 60, 70 million. That's a big money. And add on top of that, probably a Kane tax where people know we have the money for Kane. So you're probably looking even more expensive. So I don't see the benefit. And also, let me tell you this reason why I'm more adamant this season. I'm more happy to have him next summer than this summer, is because our stock right now is as low as it's ever been in the past 5 years. It's probably the lowest it's been since Pochettino left. Since Pochettino came,
of course,
it's the lowest it's been, right? So if we would, so already this summer we've seen Koundé from Sevilla reject Tottenham because we don't have Champions League. We've already seen Pau Torres reject Tottenham because we don't have Champions League. We've seen a few other players turn their noses up at the prospect of joining Tottenham because our stock is so low. So if we were to get the money now for Harry Kane, even if it's 150, I don't think we're in a good position to spend that money because players don't want to join us right now. I don't think we're in a good position to rebuild. If we spend it, even if it's less money next summer, I think we're in a better position. We could possibly be, I wouldn't say definitely, but we could possibly be in a better position next summer to spend it if we're in a better competition, even if it's Europa League.
I know, you made this point before.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think that's why I think it's a very good thing.
There's actually an argument, okay, this is going to ruffle some feathers. There's an argument to say we play better without Kane as well, though. I know that's going to offend a lot of Spurs fans, but if you looked at that Man City game, it was like the shackles came off and we were actually playing with so much freedom with the fluid front three. We haven't seen that for like years, you know, we haven't actually seen that. So there's actually an argument to say that we can actually play better without Kane. I mean, look, we've won 2 games without him pretty much, you know what I mean? I know he came on the sub, I'm not going to use 2 games as a benchmark here, but I'm just saying there is life after Kane, and you would be surprised at how well the team can cope without him and actually unleash some other qualities that you might not have seen with Kane. Because when Kane, as I said before, when Kane plays, everything has to go through him, which means that other sort of players' qualities are a little bit ostracised, if you know what I mean.
I take your point, but I think maybe last season that was true because we had Mourinho in charge and we were struggling for ways to attack opposite. Look, it was clear we were struggling last season in our attacking patterns and play, and everything went through Kane and Son. They were pretty much our only way of scoring was through them.
Yeah,
and that was a big issue. That's one of the reasons, despite Kane having a great season, why we failed to achieve what we needed under Nuno. He's obviously developing his own method and everything. But if we can develop a style of play which can maybe benefit other players as much as it benefits Kane, he could supplement what we already have as opposed to everything going through. And maybe why not? Why not?
I'll tell you what, if you during the Euros when Kane played, like for me, he had a very poor Euros. You might say he had a good Euros. I thought he was poor personally. Well, he was the worst player in the group stages out of every England player.
Okay, and he scored 4
correct?
Okay, but he scored 4 goals in 3 games.
Okay, so he scored 2 against Ukraine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Two pretty much tap-ins, right? Open goal. 1 was an open goal, right?
Against Ukraine.
I'm just saying there were 2 against Ukraine, and then I thought he was poor against Denmark, and he bottled the penalty.
Oh.
He bottled. Yeah, it was a good part. It was a good through ball through to.
No, he was man of the match against Denmark.
He was. For me, he bottled the penalty. That was the most nervous I've seen him take a penalty ever.
Okay.
And then he had a poor final. He missing in the big games again. So for me, he can slow the play down. And also another thing he does is he drops back so deep, where he's always trying to play as a central defender a lot of the time that you lose the out ball. Do you know what I mean by that? You lose the outlet because he's always back defending. So you actually lose the out ball, and that was actually a big problem in the final. I thought that we were losing the out ball. So for me, I mean, he's a great player, but I do actually think he can actually be detrimental to the team sometimes as well, though. That not a lot of Spurs fans aren't willing to say.
No player is perfect.
This. Yeah.
No player is perfect.
Yeah, I know it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but there are.
Of course, sometimes
he's not
sometimes he slows the play. Sometimes this kind of stuff, but there's a give and take when it comes with any player. Any player. You know, Human Son. Sometimes when a team's sitting deep, he can also struggle when he lacks space. Doesn't mean he's not worth having around. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to talk about Son in a minute.
We'll talk about him in a minute, but
still on Kane.
Let's get through this. Kane.
Aren't you a bit embarrassed though with Kane still being here?
No, not at all.
You're happy to still keep him here.
I'm delighted.
You're
he's still here. Delighted.
See, I feel embarrassed.
Why?
Because he has, as much as I not pick holes in him, like I can find faults in his game where everyone else thinks he's the perfect world-class player, but still he has outgrown us, I would say, where we're at the moment, you know. And it's a little bit embarrassing now. It's reached the point where I feel embarrassed to have him still here.
But that's why it's so important that he is still here, because if our best chance of overachieving is having a player like Kane still part of the team.
I'm actually thinking about him at this point, you know. And I'm actually thinking he should go on and fulfill his legacy, because it'll be an absolute travesty if he goes a whole career without winning anything.
I agree with you, but what can we do when Man City putting in horrible bids like 75 million plus 25 million?
Well, there has to be a compromise with the fee. There has to be a compromise. And we're talking about Levy here as well, you know.
Yeah, and I think he did the right thing. I think he did the right thing holding strong, because there was no offer that was acceptable for the value of player we have.
Yeah, from Kane's point of view, I mean, he needs to go and win some trophies, and then he can relax a little bit, because you know he's going to hit 30 probably and not have even a League Cup under his belt. That's shocking. You know, aren't you even slightly embarrassed about that? I'm embarrassed.
At the end of last season,
I feel ashamed now.
We were keeping Kane.
I feel like we're hanging on now. It's
right,
like, you know, when you're going out with a girl and you're letting yourself go and you know that she's better for you, but you're trying to still hang on to her and like make sure she never leaves. It's a little bit like that at the moment.
I understand your point.
Do you see what I mean?
And I think it's true that Spurs have only. That's the thing. Spurs have only themselves to blame for why Kane wants to leave. I don't think Kane actually wants to leave Tottenham. I think he feels like he needs to leave Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly. He does.
And there's a difference. Yeah. However, I don't think he wants to stay, but I feel like he feels like he has to stay now.
He has to stay, and you can tell by the marketing of, you see the tweet that he put out, because obviously they were trying to like get it over the line, and it never happened. And then they cleverly took a photo of him on the training ground, and like his quote was, "Another training session under the belt," and it's like. Clearly, like that was written in a carefully marketed way to show that is like the reason he hasn't been very active is because he's like behind the scenes, like you know, running around cones and stuff. Right, exactly. So it was like a clever bit of marketing, I thought. But
do you not think with Kane staying right now, the saga's put to bed, at least there can be a bit of a feel-good factor around Kane staying at the club for another year. Still have the player who's a feel-good factor.
I don't think that's a feel-good factor.
Why? Because you saw the reception. You don't see the reception he got on Sunday.
Do you not remember?
He got a great reception.
No, I know that.
The fans were delighted to see him, and I think
if the player doesn't want to be there, if his heart's not there, then I don't want him there.
I don't think. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think his heart isn't there. I think he feels like he needs to leave to challenge for bigger things. Yeah, but doesn't mean he's not going to give 100% if he's at the club.
Well, that's the difference between giving 100% as a professional versus your heart and your mind being in the position, if you know what I mean. Like if you've already got your heart set on going to this other club and winning trophies, winning the league, Champions League, and then you know you've got to go back to your home club, Spurs, right? Yeah, you're going to be he's a model professional. I have no doubt he's going to work his arse off. But at the same time, there's going to be a part of you going, damn, I didn't get it over the line. I wish I was there. There is still going to be a part of him that's thinking that.
Okay, but I'm sure he will knuckle down, and I'm sure he will be.
He will knuckle down. I just said he's the model professional, and he was going to work his arse off.
So what would it matter? I still feel like
he's there, and he's kind of wishing that he wasn't there. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, and anyway, I would like to say this. This is not even on Kane for me. I want to bring this up. This is Levy's fault.
It is completely.
This is all Levy and ENIC's fault. We unearthed the next Alan Shearer, and we couldn't even build a team around that to win a League Cup. Levy, what are you doing? What are you doing? You've got into this position where you missed 2 transfer windows. All you had to do was keep replenishing it, even slightly replenishing it every season, just a couple of players. You know, he couldn't even do that. He rested on his laurels. He thought we had the perfect team, even though this perfect team finished 3rd, then 2nd. You know, that's if that got a little injection of 3 players at that point, we could have turned into a superpower like Liverpool did, even if it was just for like 2 or 3 years. We were right on the precipice, and he did it again. He did this when we had it in 2011, and he brought Saha and Nelson in, and we were that far away from being a superpower, and he's done it again. And we unearthed a player like Kane who's loyal, who's come through the youth system, so he's obviously going to give even more loyalty. He's like unbelievable player technician. As much as I like I critique him, as I think a balanced pundit should, he is still incredible technician, incredible striker, and Levy still couldn't build a team around that. And now he wants to go, leave the team that he loves, he's in love with. So for me, this isn't even really, on a deeper level, this isn't even really about Kane. My gripe is, Levy, what are you doing, mate? Come on, like, sort this out. This is just, it's just like Groundhog Day. Every few seasons this happens now. We get up to just on the edge, and then he just leaves it. Don't invest anything, and then just let it fall again.
It's only when we're on our way down does he invest. That's the only time.
See, Levy is a reactive chairman, not a proactive chairman. He doesn't think, oh, we're growing, we're getting to that point where we can go over that threshold. He just thinks, oh, we're close enough to keep things sustainable. All he thinks about is keeping things sustainable, and then when it drops down like quite low and he's a bit panicky, then he invests. Then he's like proactive, you know. Sorry, he's reactive, but he's never proactive, and that's the problem with him, and that's why we never win anything. And I don't think, and I can't see us winning anything in the near future unless the mentality at the very, very top changes.
And do you think this summer? You know what?
Sorry, I know that was a bit of a but that's an important tangent. That's so important.
And
there's all this focus on Kane, and we can have that
agree.
argument about Kane, but we shouldn't even be having that argument. This is all a fundamental issue at the club.
Kane shouldn't be in a position where he feels the need he has to leave.
You know, he loves the club.
Yeah, and I think he's always even said that as long as Spurs are progressing, not just progressing, but if we're consistently in the Champions League, then and we're in challenging for the big trophies, he's always happy to stay. He's happy to stay.
But we couldn't even do that.
We couldn't do that for him. And that's. And I think as well, at the end of last season, when we sacked Mourinho, we hired Mason, it was a complete mess. Everyone wanted the Super League, it was all just an absolute joke. There's not, like, obviously he was going to look to leave at that point. It was obvious to everyone that if Kane was a player with even an iota of ambition, he would look to leave.
We actually talked about that, didn't we? On one of the last HOTSPARs, we said one of the advantages of keeping Mourinho would be that it might encourage Kane to just stay an extra season. And also, we didn't realise at the time, we thought that we'd lose a lot of money in Mourinho's wages. We didn't realise there was like some kind of loophole, a Levy loophole, where if you're outside, something about being outside the top 5 or 6, wasn't it? That he could get rid of him on a cheaper deal.
He didn't agree
so
with that.
If that is true, which it is, right?
He said, "Oh, sorry, you mean for Mourinho?" So, I think there was a.
That's why they sacked him a week before the.
I heard it was something to do with the cup bonus. Like if he would have won a cup,
right? Okay.
He would have got a bonus, and because they didn't want to, they knew they weren't keeping him next season. They'd rather gamble on Mason winning the cup instead of giving it to Mourinho.
I thought it had to do with. I thought it had to do something with league places, but maybe that is still.
Maybe it could be either
hearsay, but. Yeah, I mean, so we thought that he could stay, but you did make the point that is it more likely that Kane will stay if Mourinho's there? And you were right. I think when Mourinho's gone, they brought in another project manager.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I've done those projects before. I've gone through that whole phase. We brought in Mourinho. That's going to be the one that finally solidifies everything, and that didn't happen. I think Kane's mindset is, I don't want to go through that whole rebuilding again. You know, I'm like a senior player now, so yeah, I can see.
Yeah, but he is still here.
Happened,
and you know, you mentioned, you know, we could have done what Liverpool did with Coutinho, but then it could easily go the other way. Could easily go how it did with us with Bale.
No, but I think the Bale thing worked. It just took.
Did it?
There was a latent period.
We sold 5 of those players within 2 years.
No, but it took a while. But we became the best Spurs Premiership team we've ever had.
Nothing to do with selling Bale, though.
Well, but that all came as a result from that. It doesn't matter how it happened.
It took us 2 seasons.
We got Eriksen. Admittedly, most of the team were crap. Even those 7 were crap, let's say. But even though we got rid of Bale, we still improved, didn't we? It took a couple of seasons after that, didn't it?
2 seasons.
Yeah, it took 2 seasons, but we did recover. So that's my point: is you get rid of someone like Kane,
right? But you
can still recover from that.
No, yeah, of course. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying we don't want to wait 2 seasons, do we?
Well, we don't want to, but it might not take
Liverpool
2
didn't wait 2 seasons when they sold Coutinho to recover.
It didn't take that long.
I'm saying, but you can go either way. I'm saying it taking 2 years is a failure. That for me is a failure. That in my opinion, if you sell a player for big money, you sign some player to replace him.
I think it's
unlikely.
In the wilderness but I think it's unlikely that we're gonna hire the sign the S Club 7
it's
again
true
with Kira.
But then it also happened with Liverpool and Suarez. They sold Suarez for big money, nearly 100 million. And they signed a bunch of other, like we did with Bale, a bunch of other players like Balotelli and people like him.
Yeah, but
and
I think
it completely flopped.
I know. But I think with
Completely flopped.
Paratici, I think we've got a better chance now of sourcing out better players than we did back 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I think we're in a little bit of a better
But do
position
you not think
now.
it's less of a risk to have one of the best strikers in the league rather than gamble on a few other players who might work and might not?
So how long would you want to keep him for then?
I want to keep him as long as he wants to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, or as long as we can get, or as long as we can.
Well, let's say he doesn't want to be here anymore.
If he's downing tools, that's different.
So you're just happy to keep him even though he still doesn't want to be there.
Depends. Look, we know he doesn't. I know he wanted to leave. We all know he wanted to leave this summer. We know that.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kane is the type of person to not, because he is so single-mindedly looking at those records, Premier League records, all-time top goal scorer, all these kind of things,
Yeah.
and he knows as well that at 28 years of age, if he has an off year, there are no clubs going to come in for him next season in terms of big money, because the doubts will start to, like Man City will start to have doubts. Is he on decline? Is he getting worse?
Exactly.
All these kind of things. He needs to keep up his standards.
And so that's my point. I was going to mention that as well. I actually think this is the last absolutely top season you're going to see from Kane.
I disagree. Because I think if you look at Lewandowski, why can't you do what Lewandowski does? Why?
Because I think that Kane's had a lot of little ankle injuries and stuff that I think are catching up with him. I even noticed it last season when he had those 2 little ankle injuries and he came off the pitch. You might not notice it, but I noticed he lost a lot of sharpness in that last third of the season. Even just from that, he lost a lot of sharpness. Like at the beginning of the season, he was shit hot, wasn't he? Him and Son, shit hot.
Mm-hmm.
But then they both faded at the second half of the season. And I wanted to talk about Son as well. I thought he faded a lot throughout the second half of the season, because they went
Was there too much relying on them?
They went, because what was happening at the first half of the season is everything went through Son and Kane. All our goals came through them pretty much. 90% of our goals, wasn't it? Or probably more, 95% or something like that.
It was quite a lot,
and yes, we got to the top of the league, but we had 2, you would say, arguably world-class players up there, up front. It was unsustainable. That's the thing. And that's why in our initial HOTSPARs, that's what I was making the point. I said, they're papering over the cracks because structurally we're not strong. But you made the argument, but we've got created most chances. And I was trying to say, statistically, but you can see structurally when you're watching it, this isn't going to last. And it's going to hit us hard later on in the season. And so I can't remember the point I was making.
about Son and Kane.
But yeah, so Kane. No, it's about Kane. So I can see that this might be the last top quality season you see from Kane. And if he does go to Man City, my prediction is what will happen is he'll play like a few months in the first team, and then he'll get relegated to the bench.
Nah,
yeah,
I disagree. I think
because
you're totally wrong.
He doesn't press. He's not hard working enough up front. He does trot around a lot, doesn't he?
He doesn't press as effectively as he used to.
Exactly. And I can see if we went to somewhere like Man City, he would slow the team down a little bit. And I think Pep would see that, and he'd end up putting him on the bench for a string of games and deploying him various times.
I think in terms of Kane being top season, I think Kane is of the kind of ilk in terms of his physique and how he plays the game. I think he'd easily go into his mid-30s and on top of his game.
Yeah, but he could also go the way of Robbie Keane.
But he's not like Robbie Keane.
Rooney.
Robbie Keane relied on those little bits of sharpness in and around the penalty area to make the difference. Kane's different like that.
Kane's not sharp in the penalty area?
He obviously is sharp, but every player needs their sharpness. But Robbie Keane isn't... Like, we all know Robbie Keane was a bit of a joker. He wasn't that solely focused on like Kane.
Yeah.
Kane
what do you mean a joker? Explain that.
Robbie Keane isn't the kind of guy who's he'd probably like to go out in on the weekends and stuff like that and have a drink. He wasn't the kind of player who's solely focused like Kane on being the best player he can possibly be. Robbie Keane relied a lot on his natural talent a lot, I felt. Harry Kane, everything he does is geared towards improving himself. That's how he got to where he is today. Because when he was coming through the Spurs academy, he wasn't the quickest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the tallest, he wasn't the best at finishing. He wasn't any of those things, but he made himself into all of those things not maybe the quickest, but he made himself into all those things from sheer hard work and absolute determinism.
What do you mean maybe not the quickest? He's definitely not the quickest.
Okay, he's not the quickest, but I'm saying he's a lot faster than he was when in his younger days.
I actually think he was faster in 2015.
Than he is now,
yeah.
I'm saying in his younger days before that. I'm saying in his youth level, he was known as like a bit of a slow coach.
He's slowing down though. Also, I've noticed
you're never the same player at 28 as you were.
He's losing pace.
22. You're never the same player at 28 as you were at 22. My point is, he works so hard in improving himself in every facet of the game. I don't think he'll ever let his standards drop, like say Robbie Keane, who was finished at 28. Like say Wayne Rooney, who was finished at 30.
Course,
he's not going to be a Wayne Rooney.
But you can't affect things like your pace. You can't affect that, even no matter how much hard work you put in the training ground. You can't.
Is Lewandowski the fastest?
For me, Lewandowski's the better player.
He might be a better player, but it doesn't mean he's doesn't need pace. Doesn't rely on pace.
Let me explain the things that made Kane for me. I think he was world class just about in around 2015 to 2017, and the reason for that is couple of things that you don't see anymore that you used to back then is that I think Kane was quicker back then, and also he had a better ability to. He used to generate a lot of power off his shots when he was off balance, and he used to get quickly out of his feet. He used to do this, and he'd quickly get out of his feet and get a shot off balance from any sort of position, even if players were barging into him, stuff like that. You don't really see that anymore from Kane. He's an amazing technician, amazing finisher, but a lot of the goals he scores now are kind of, you expect him to get those goals now. They're in and around the penalty area. Whereas before, he used to score a lot of goals. He used to create the chance for himself, and he used to score out of nothing. Would you agree with that?
He used to do more than he does now.
But if you think about it now, he doesn't really score those goals out of nothing, where he creates a yard for himself, like 25 yards out, and pops a shot off. Even like Son scored against City, you don't really see that from.
I've seen Kane score enough goals from outside
last
the box.
Season, how many goals did he score like from 25 yards? Where he scored it out of, let's say, a goal out of nothing.
I remember off the top of my head, a goal against Sheffield United. That was outside the box. That was
but I don't think that was like completely out of nothing. I think he dribbled into position and he had like the goal to his mercy, didn't he? And he popped it into the corner, didn't he? I remember that goal. But do you know what I'm saying? That a goal that's like he had no right to score that goal.
You mean like the goal he scored against Chelsea?
Like Son scored against City last week.
Yeah, he doesn't do that as much.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But he used to do that.
Because he's shouldering a lot of the burden.
So what I'm saying is, you're saying he's always this player that's going to keep improving himself. But there's certain things that as you get older, you're going to lose these qualities. And one of the things you lose from Kane, I've noticed as he's got older, is a little bit of pace, a little bit of that kind of rubbery. When players are bouncing into him, he's just able to deflect them away. He's just a little bit slightly. It's very marginal, by the way. It's very marginal. You might not even notice it. He's a little bit more brittle in his body movements. He doesn't get those snapshots off as much. He doesn't quite get a yard for himself and get the shot off as much as he used to either. Now these are the sorts of things that you lose as you get older. You start to slow down a little bit more. You start to become a little bit more predictable in your movements, stuff like that.
No, I don't disagree with a lot of what you said. However, what you do, as all top players do, Ronaldo's not the same player now.
Yeah, you adapt your game.
Exactly, you adapt. And that's exactly what Kane is doing. And doesn't mean just because he can't do some other things, what he can do is some other things. He doesn't get any, when he was starting as a striker, did he get any assists? No. Now, he's the whole highest assister in the Premier League. You know, he adapts his game in different ways. And that's why you do. Where you don't improve in some aspects, you do improve in a lot more aspects.
Yeah, we saw that last
Lewandowski is not the same player he was at 24. Doesn't make him any worse. He's just as effective. He's worse in some areas, and he's better in other areas, which he hones in on. And that's what I'm saying about Kane. He might not be as quick, or he might not be as strong, or whatever, brittle, whatever you said, as he was back then. Fine, that's true. But he's going to be better in other areas. His movement, his positioning, his ability to get assists, his where he is in the penalty area, his ability is going to change. It's going to change, and he's going to adapt. And he can still be as effective as he was then.
So he could be more effective, almost more as a playmaker than as a striker, is what you're saying.
Huh? No, he can still be a striker, class striker. As I said,
because last season he dropped deeper because he realised that. There's lack of Eriksen. There was a lack of dominance on the ball that we used to have like 3 years ago.
You can say that was one of the reasons. For England, he also dropped deeper when we had a lot of creative players. Or not as much though. Didn't have to do it as much.
He should have done.
He didn't have to do it as much
for England as much as he should have as he did. But I would say that last season you saw a different type of Kane where he was dropping back. He was almost playing in the pivot, if you noticed.
Not
quite
that
a lot
far
of
back.
the time.
Not
Almost
that far
central
back.
midfield. He was.
No, it was more in the cam
At times
area.
he would get the second ball and then he would wait for the runners and then he would.
I think
then he
under
would spread the
Mourinho,
passes.
I think we were so deep.
So he was playing
were
like
so
the
deep
all-action
under
hero
Mourinho.
last season, where he knew that he had to because the team was weaker.
That's more
he was
Mourinho than
he was
him, though. That's more
he was
Mourinho
plugging
than
the
him.
gaps because he realised that the team was a lot weaker and he was having to sort of play in about 3 different positions last season. So yeah, I understand that he can adapt his game, but I think as an out-and-out striker, you're not going to see the same Kane as you did, a few years ago.
Doesn't mean he's any less effective.
Doesn't mean he's not. It doesn't mean he's not a good player. I'm just saying you're not going to see that same type of striker.
Right,
anymore.
but my point is, it might not be the same striker as he was back then. Doesn't mean he's any less effective than he was back then.
Well, I think he will be less effective scoring goals still.
Why? He's just got golden boot. He's off the back of a golden
I
boot
think
in the Premier League.
That season, last season though, I think if you look at all the other strikers, they all had a pretty much the strikers that you expect to be up there had a poor season. Aubameyang, Vardy, Salah, they all had poor
So
seasons.
you won it by default? Is that what you're saying?
No, you're trying to.
That's what you're saying.
I would say that don't put words in my mouth.
You
I'm
said
saying
everyone
that
else had a poor
all
season,
the other
so you won it by
all the other
default.
strikers that would be up there, let's say, had a bit of a lukewarm season. All right. But I would say though that let's see what happens this season. Let's see what happens this season.
And I'm
at
sure,
Spurs,
I'm
yeah.
sure under Nuno, when we
Yeah.
have a bit more possession, hoping
Yeah.
we're a bit more offensive.
Oh.
Hopefully,
I think you owe me 20 quid.
do I?
Yeah.
Do I? What
Yeah,
for
yeah.
what?
In
Do
the
we make a
comment
bet?
section. In the comment
Do
section.
we make a bet?
We made a bet, and you said that Kane would definitely be Player of the Year, and I said he wouldn't be. And
Is that actually what we did?
Yeah.
You have to get.
Yeah,
I need
I'm
evidence.
sure. Can we have some?
I need evidence. Look, John. Before we carry on, let's. Get
He wants to change the subject.
No, let's get some super chats. Super chats.
There is
Talking
one
about
here.
money. I don't remember making a bet. Look. I'm
Because we went like that. Do you remember? And we went shake on it, and we didn't, and we did the fist pump.
First of all, Kane was robbed of that Player of the Year. Can I just say he was absolutely robbed of that Player of the Year. But look, John, I'm happy to pay you.
So I knew I'd get a lot of abuse here.
I'm happy to pay you.
Pay up. Cody Max says, "Pay up, Simeon."
I don't remember ever making a bet, but I'm happy to pay you if I
I'm
did.
sure you don't remember it.
Guy Dunn says, "Do you not think Nuno's the sort of manager who wouldn't play Kane if he wasn't performing well?" Do you think Nuno?
You changed the subject very quickly.
No,
haven't
super
you,
chats.
Sim?
We've got
Go on,
not.
yeah. We got super-
Am I going
super
to
chat.
ignore the super
Super
chat?
chat.
Am I going to ignore? Is that what you want? All right,
Sim's record-
John wants us to ignore the super chat, everyone.
No, let's acknowledge the bet. No, let's
unfortunately,
acknowledge
you've
the
paid
bet.
money to put a
Look
comment
how quick,
in, but
look
we
how
have to
quick
ignore
Sim's
it.
changing
We
the
have to
subject
ignore
here.
it now. Sorry,
Let's
John.
tie the loop on
Sorry
this.
to the commenters who put in
Oh.
money for their super chat. We
Sim's
have to.
changing the
We have to
subject.
ignore it. Look. Do you have evidence of this bet?
Well, it's on video.
Well, let's get it up. Get it up, and I'll pay you.
No, don't you remember?
I've
All
got
last
20 quid
season,
right
you kept
now.
going on about how Kane was, he's definitely the best
I've
player
got
in the
20
league.
quid for you right now,
All right,
here.
put it under the mug.
Oh, put it under the mug. And if you show me evidence that we actually
up
made a
soon.
bet, I'll pay it. You can take the 20. I've got it right here.
Because
right
you kept
here.
going on about how Kane will definitely win Player of the Year.
He should have. He
And
was robbed.
I said he won't win Player of the Year. And we've made a £20 bet on it.
Well, you should have been wrong.
I should have been wrong.
Yeah, you
I
should
should have been wrong.
You should have. Kane was the best player in the Premier League last season.
Well, clearly not.
he was.
The £20 speaks for itself.
I think they were wrong. They were. I mean, I've been robbed if that's the case. If you win this bet, I've been robbed. But anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
Guy Dunn. So do you think Nuno's the sort of manager who wouldn't play Kane if he wasn't performing well?
Say again?
Third time. Is Nuno the sort of manager who wouldn't play Kane if he wasn't performing well? Like Mourinho is going to play Kane no matter what. Like Pochettino always tended to play Kane no matter what.
I don't know, but I hope he's someone that does it on form and not reputation. I hope.
But do
he
you
does.
think how things have happened in the summer will affect that kind of thing?
Well, I like the fact that he kept him as sub for the Wolves game and brought him on. I like that. I was hoping that he would do that, and he did that. Because you want to be able to see a team that can cope without Kane, and then you can bring Kane on as an extra, on an extra dimension. But the problem is, I keep saying this: if you start with Kane, you can't bring him off. So you've only got one dimension during the whole 90 minutes. But if you have the first half without him, and then if you want to change things up on the 70th minute, you can add a different dimension, which is what happened against Wolves. When he came on, it was good, and he did bring a lot of composure into the final third, and I did like that. But I think if you always play Kane 90 minutes every single game, then you lose the opportunity for a team to create a second form, like a different type of formation, you know?
Okay, let me ask you this, John. You're Nuno. Yeah.
Right, we're blocking anyone that's calling me an Arsenal fan.
Look, John,
Straight up block on the channel.
You're Nuno the manager. Yeah.
What's wrong with what I'm saying?
Nothing's
though?
wrong with what I'm saying. I didn't disagree with you.
No, for these people saying I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm just critiquing what I'm saying.
John,
I'm
you have
just
to
seeing
realise
objectively.
you could be saying give to charity and people be calling you an arsehole. Okay, you know, don't take the comments too serious to heart. That is my point. I'm off. You're Nuno, right?
Yeah.
You've won the first 2 games of the season. Star striker like Harry Kane wanted to leave the whole summer. He's now back in the fold. Do you tell Kane, look, we've won the first 2 games of the season, playing quite fairly well, whatever, playing well. You have to earn your place back in the team. Or do you say, Kane, you're our best player. You're the talisman of the team. You're back in.
I would like him to say you have to earn your place again. Yeah, and also let him know that this isn't the Harry Kane show anymore. This is this is a team thing now, and we're all gonna have to fit into whatever's going on with the team, which the formation that I'm putting out, which means that sometimes you might stay on the bench. I would quite like that, you know. Against City, that was the best performance I've seen for we're going to have to go back till the maybe Everton away under Poch when we won 6-2. That's probably as good a performance I've seen.
Do you not? And you don't think that would have been possible with Kane and the team?
I think that you would have seen a different type of performance. I think Kane would have dropped deep and he would have tried to he'd been back defending in his own penalty box a lot. But if you look at the goal that we scored, if you look at the 3 forwards, Mora, Bergwijn, and then Son, right? If you notice, they were all staggered outside the edge of the area. So you had Mora just on the edge of the area, and he did like the little backflip, right? And then Bergwijn was just a couple yards ahead. He took the ball on the right wing, and then Son was even further ahead. If Kane was in that team, I reckon what would have happened, we'd have been defending a lot flatter, and I think Kane would have probably been in the penalty area, and then we probably would have had like a Mora on the edge of the area, and then we wouldn't have been able to create the outball like that. We wouldn't be able to create the counter attack as effectively. So you might have seen a different type of performance. We probably might not have scored that goal. And I think the way that the front 3 was working against City was brilliant. I thought that was a real weapon. And so I would really like to see us utilise that a lot more. The front 3, the fluid front 3. I think it's brilliant.
But against Wolves,
against Wolves, what you saw is against City, what you saw is the midfield, when we're attacking, they were really joining the forwards to create a 6, and then as soon as we lost the ball, they were running back and creating a 7 with the defence very, very quickly. And the forwards also came back to retrieve the ball, like the goal that we scored, right? But what happened against Wolves was the forwards were very far apart, and there was a lot of distance between the forwards and the midfield, and the defence. They weren't getting close enough to each other. So for me, that wasn't really a Kane in or out issue. That was just the way that they were playing at the time.
But you admitted we looked a lot better when Kane was on the pitch.
No, in that he settled the team down a bit in the final third, yeah. But I don't think that can be a benchmark of are we a better team. Would that you can't say against City would it have been better? Yeah, we don't know.
Dark Sun G21, I agree. The team fights as a unit without Kane, like the Ajax game and the Man City round 1. Kane was out for 3 games after the Liverpool game. Okay, so he missed 3 games last season after the Liverpool game, he's saying, when he got injured. I agree. The team fights as a unit without Kane. Yeah, but you can also, why can't they do it with Kane? I remember against Man City last year when we beat them 2-0 in Tottenham HOTSPAR Stadium. Not saying it was as good.
They pumped us that game.
Yeah, but we deserved the win. We did. We deserved the win. Well, we fought as a unit.
Any team that wins 2-0, you can argue they should deserve the win.
We fought as a unit that game.
But
we fought as a unit.
We were way better this season than last season.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we fought as a unit.
So why was that then?
Huh?
Why was that? We had Kane in the team last season.
I don't even think we were better. I think we were better to watch.
No, we were much better this season.
We created more chances. We created more chances. And
last season?
No, this season.
Yeah.
And we look less likely to concede.
Well, then that's perfect.
But doesn't mean last season we were bad. I thought we defended really well last season.
I thought last season it was like backs to the wall. It was like wave after wave.
Yeah, but they didn't create anything. We defended very well.
Well, you can say that, but like the ball was pinballing around a lot more in the area, and there was a lot of chances where if just like half an inch away and they would have scored. But this season it felt very, very watertight at the back. A lot of that probably comes down to the way Nuno set us up as well.
I don't disagree. My point is we did fight as a unit in that game. I remember Harry Kane even got man of the match, and not just for his striking abilities, for his ability in the midfield to battle. That's why he got man of the match. So I'm saying
he had a good game that game.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Was that super chat? I agree with that super chat. Can you read that out again?
I agree. The team fights as a unit without Kane, like the Ajax game and the Man City round 1.
Yeah. I think you.
Why is the Ajax game evidence of that when we were 3-0 down? As us fighting as a unit, just because we got back into it by lumping the ball forward.
I think that in that 2018 season, the Champions League run, I think we did play better without Kane that season.
Why?
We just did. Like, do
you not
because I think that when that season, Son would play a lot better without Kane, and Son was the main man. He became the main man. When Kane played, it did slow the team down a little bit. And you are gonna, I know it's gonna upset so many Spurs fans, but when Kane plays, it can slow the team down.
And when Kane doesn't play,
it can unleash a lot more pace into the team.
Yes, but also you're missing other stuff as well that Kane brings to the team, which you're missing without
but
Kane.
I'm just saying that.
But I don't think it's a better or worse. It's different.
No, I'm saying it can.
Yeah, but my point is, it's not like people argue either we're better or worse without Kane. I'm arguing it's not better or worse. It's just we're different without Kane.
Yeah, we're different. We're
right,
different.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So I think this just without Kane was better in this way, but I just think
no, I don't say. I'm last season when I said before when Kane played. He was often the best player on the pitch, most influential. If he was having a good game, if he was having a bad game, the whole team slowed down and we looked rubbish. You know, because he was so influential. He was like everything had to go through him. When he's not playing now, it means that the whole team can play as a unit now, and they can all bring their strengths out and their qualities out.
That's a failure of the management, not the player.
Well,
not the
possibly,
team.
yeah.
No, it is. It is.
We'll see. Well, let's see what happens with Nuno. I'd like to see if he can play where he's not. Everything has to go through him, then maybe something good can happen.
Luke Diamond says, 1st of January, Kane refuses to come back to training. He wants to leave. 25th of Jan, Kane saying, I'm happy to be here. I can confirm I'm leaving the club this winter. Lol, this will go on and on. Oh, he's saying there's possible. Do you think it's possible City come back in for Kane in Jan? We're not selling Kane in January. There's no zero chance of selling Kane in January. You think Levy's going to sell a player mid-season?
Yeah, I can't see that. What do you think? What do you think he would go for next season, Sim?
I think you're looking at between 80 and 100.
And you're happy with that?
Am I happy with that? I think it's 2 years. It depends where we are. Obviously, I'm not happy with it because I don't want him to go. I don't think Harry Kane's an amazing player.
But you'd prefer that than selling him this season?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Even for 130 million? You'd prefer selling him for 80 million next season?
Yep.
You would?
I think what he could bring to us this season could easily be worth 50 million.
Just because you think he'll get us over the line into like 5th place?
He could, well, I think we've got more chance of getting top 4 this season than we do next.
You think we've got a chance for top 4?
No, I don't. But I think we have more of a chance if with Kane in the team.
So you don't think we're going to get a top 4,
No.
but you want to keep him in the hope that like
we do,
even though we lose. So you think we will?
No.
So what's the value then?
If we do, we have more of a chance of getting top 4 with him in the team.
But you just said you don't think we will.
No, I don't think we will.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Because
the better chance. I'd rather have a better chance of getting top 4 than not getting top 4.
So you're doing on just having a better chance, but you don't think we're going to do it. So would you not?
But it's like throwing in the towel if we give Kane. But I think.
But so you got the chance to. So potentially you could lose 40, 50 million.
You will lose
in just the chance of making top 4. When let's be honest, it is unlikely.
Well, if you get top 4, that's an extra 100 million in the bag.
So you do think there is a chance?
There is a chance with Kane.
There's a chance, but you don't think it's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. There's a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, man. Is that contradictory? Is that contradictory?
Yeah, it does feel contradictory.
Why? Tell me how it's contradictory, please.
Because you're saying that there's a chance we can keep him because there is a chance. Do you think it's going to happen? No. You know what I mean? It's like
Liverpool, City, United, and Chelsea are very strong, and they're stronger than Tottenham. But Tottenham's chances of getting top 4 are higher with Kane in the team than with him not in the team. Why is that? Why is that contradictory to say? I don't think we're going to get top 4, but there's more of a chance of getting top 4 with Kane.
So you must think that we've got a very good chance, though.
No, I don't think we have a very good chance.
Right. So you think you said we're going to finish 6th.
Yeah. Well, depends who we get in the next last bits of the window.
So what good is it to like lose 50 million on Kane?
Because I think we potentially could be in a strong position next year than we are now, and better position to spend the money.
How would we be in a better position?
How?
Yeah. By finishing 6th.
Well, maybe we have a trophy under our belt. Maybe we're showing to be going in the right direction.
Oh, this is just like rhetoric. There's nothing tangible there.
That's better than we are now, where we're in the gutter.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I think we'll be in a better position.
I think we're in a better position as a team if we have Kane, if Kane is still here, right, to attract players to the club to spend the money. Right now, no one wants to come to us. Maybe next summer, if we have a good season,
what do you mean?
Harry
What do you
Kane,
mean? Like,
maybe more players.
If Kane's
going to
go next season, why would that attract players?
Why is it going to attract players now? I'm saying if Kane leaves next season,
I didn't mention attracting players.
I'm saying if Kane leaves next season, right? Yeah, and say Spurs have by miracle got top 4.
No. I asked you if we're 6th. How is that going to mean? You mentioned the point where if it looks as though we're moving in the right direction. Elaborate on moving in the right direction. What tangible? What does that look like?
Maybe
tangibly?
a cup. Maybe if we won a cup.
Okay.
Maybe we won a cup. Maybe if we've had a very solid challenge for top 4 and look like we could potentially get there next season, then teams might want to join us.
I don't
right now, no one wants to join us.
Players don't join clubs because you nearly made 4th and you finished 6th. They don't look at it like that.
I know. Well, no. They
You just said
they potentially will if you're going in the right direction.
A player doesn't go, wow, they had a good run at top 4, but they finished 6th. Wow, must go to them because they had a great run. They don't. That's not how players decide clubs.
Yes, it's less likely, but I think it's more likely that we'll overachieve this season with Kane in the team than without Kane in the team.
Right, but you still think we'll finish 6th?
Unfortunately, because I don't actually. If Kane's staying now, that was based on Kane leaving. With Kane staying, probably I'll say 5th.
5th. Well,
yeah, I think we'll finish above Leicester. I think we'll finish above Leicester.
That's still not going to be that much of a pull for players.
Right, but we'll be closer to top 4 with Kane than without Kane.
But it doesn't make a difference.
How does it not make a difference?
Because you can take, let's say, 130 million now or 80 million next season, and we're still going to be 5th.
Okay.
So how is that an improvement?
But we might get top 4.
So now we might get... But you just said 5th.
I think we're going to finish 5th, right?
Yeah.
But we might get top 4.
This is all a punt that we're going to finish top 4.
Correct. That's what football is.
This is all a punt. So you're going to...
I'd rather take a punt on us keeping Kane and maybe having a shout at top 4 than giving up. Is my point. And we're basically, by selling Kane, we're pretty much confirming we're not going to get top 4 this season. And we're saying we're not going to get top 4. We're going to have all this money.
So
spent,
the only way that this is going to work out financially is if we actually make top 4.
Correct.
That's what we're saying.
Correct.
So you're going all in with Kane staying that we're going to finish in the top 4 for that to be in a better position than this season. Selling Kane
maybe
for
win a trophy.
130 million.
Win a trophy
and you're also putting hopes on us winning a trophy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, what do you mean? Why else would you want players to stay who are good for you?
I mean, I just don't think that's very well thought through.
Why not?
Because let's be honest, we're not. I don't think we're quite good enough to finish top 4. We both said that last week. We both said we'd finish 6th.
Okay.
You know, I think the squad. I think the squad is threadbare. I think it's wafer thin, you know. I think the squad was a lot better at the beginning of last season than it is now. You've lost Toby, you've lost our best right back, you've lost Lamella. Even though Lamella, okay, but he had been there like 7 years, and he did offer something coming off the bench, closing the ball down. You've also lost Bale as well. You've lost all those players, but so what tells you that we're going to be in a much better position for getting top 4 this season when we finish 6th?
Different way of playing, fresher approach. And I think we can get more out of players, hopefully, than we did last season. Yeah, but that's still that's a shot in the dark, though. Well, I think there's already signs that we're going to hopefully get more out of certain players than we did last season. I'm hoping, but
yeah, it's a shot in the dark.
You could say it's a shot in the dark, but different managers improve different players. I
think realistically, what's going to happen this season is we'll finish around.
So you're saying we should accept
a good season 5th, but I think you're probably looking at like 6th this season.
You're saying we should sell Kane because we're not going to get top 4 anyway. So sell him, get the extra money, and then hopefully players who we want will want to come to us.
I think we should start this new generation of players where. We can get good money for Kane now. Admittedly, everyone's people want Levy fans want 150 million. I'll just take 130, 140 million now. Use that money, reinvest the money, build up, start a new cycle of players. Like Poch did when he came in. He got rid of the deadwood. He started a new generation of players and build the team around that, rather than keeping Kane. His value dropping to, you mentioned 80 million, something like that. And then what? Then we've lost the opportunity to use that money for better players.
80 million still enough? It's still a good figure.
Well, it's almost half what you could have made this season, isn't it? So.
Well, we couldn't have. No one bid for him for under what we wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean,
I'm saying if we get 80
I don't see
million,
how that works financially.
I'm saying I think. Yeah, you're thinking that things are certain. I think things are not certain. I'm saying we've got a better shot of getting into that top 4 with Kane. So why not give it our best shot by keeping him? Is what I would say. And then maybe next season we'll see where we are. But I think right now our best shot is having Harry Kane, and if it pays off, it's high risk, high reward. That's how it is. But I'd much rather have it. I'd much rather go with Kane and see what we can do because we're in a better position than just say let's sell him. We'll take the extra 30 million and let's give up on top 4 this season.
All right, let's see what happens anyway.
Say.
Yeah.
More super chats.
Let's talk about Mora.
We'll talk more super chats. Daniel Hammett says Kane had the most goals last season, showing he still scores. He had the most assists, showing he can be a playmaker. I think you're looking for problems.
No, I'm not. I think a lot of that came down to the fact that he was with Son.
Got the assists.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Bob Spur TV says, John, give the money to the people in need. City.
Have you seen that? There's a picture of a good meme with like a swimmer like pouring a bottle of water over his head, and it was like the quote was Man City buying Grealish.
Oh, brilliant. Essa Al Shamari, what do you think is our number 1 priority for the rest of the window? Don't ignore my super chat, Sim. Oh, that's because I said we have to ignore all the super chats because you whatever. What do you think is our number 1 priority? I would say right now it's a right back.
Yeah.
That's our number 1 priority. Tanganga, Doherty and Aurier is going, so I think that's definitely we need a right back. That's the number 1 priority. And then probably...
What else?
I mean, I would say centre-back, but it looks like Sanchez is staying, so I have to accept that. I think we have to accept Sanchez is staying, so I don't think we're going to get another centre-back. So I would get another winger and a central midfielder. But obviously we need Sissoko to go.
What do you think of Lo Celso at the moment? Because I think we need a playmaker. Lo Celso was meant to be the replacement for Eriksen, right?
Yeah, it hasn't worked out.
And it's not working out.
I wouldn't say it's not working out. I said it hasn't worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
It's not working out. I'm not saying it hasn't worked out. I'm just saying it's not working out so far.
I can agree with that.
What do you think about bringing in? I mean, do you roll the dice there or not?
I think we should bring one in.
I think we need to.
I think we should bring one, and especially with Ndombele now.
Yeah.
Looking to leave, which is a big blow.
Do you think he will?
I don't think so because I just can't. Unless we include him in a swap deal for a player we really want, I can't see him leaving.
Do you want him to stay?
If he wants out, I want him to go.
But is it not the same argument that you said with Kane? Wouldn't it give us a better opportunity to finish in the top 4 if Ndombele stays?
Depends who we get in to replace him. But with Kane, it's a lot easier to find a player in Ndombele's position than it is to find a player in Kane's position.
Would it not? But do you know what I mean? Though, would it not be better to keep him and play him to maybe make the top 4 in your idea?
No, because what I'm saying is, if we sell Kane, we're not going to get anyone near Kane's quality. If we sell Ndombele, there's a possibility we can get someone just as effective as Ndombele in central midfield, or someone who fits our system better. In that sense, I don't think Kane is a big jump. Kane is like right at the top. Ndombele, as much as he has a lot of quality, he hasn't been at his best for 2 years at Tottenham since he's come here. We've never seen the best of him really, apart from fits and spurts. We haven't seen the best of him. So him coming in right for club record fee, he's our highest paid player, right? And yet we haven't seen the best of him for 2 years, and now he wants out. It's like, am I supposed to beg him to stay? Harry Kane has been at his best for 8 years. Of course, he's shown over 8 years.
You're begging him to stay.
Yes, because it goes over 8 years. He's shown he can be consistently good for 8 years. That's impressive. That's not easy. Okay, that's shown over a long period of time. He can play at the top.
I think
top
Ndombele
level.
was fine last season. I thought it was excellent.
Not consistently.
I thought he was.
Not over the whole game. Not over the whole season.
I thought it was brilliant last season, actually.
I wouldn't be upset if Ndombele stayed. I wouldn't be upset if Ndombele stayed.
That's what I'm asking, yeah. So
I wouldn't be upset.
All right, so let's say Ndombele stays. Who else do you think? Where else do we need reinforcements?
Hopefully, I'd want to get rid of one of Sissoko or Winks and get a replacement there. Probably Sissoko.
You're not. Yeah, I was going to say.
And
you've been doubling down so much on Winks that it's almost like your stubbornness is finally broken now.
Winks, I've had enough of him. I can't defend him anymore. When he's putting in performances like he did last Thursday. But it sounds like he is going to stay. It doesn't look like Winks is going anywhere. So I think to replace him with Sissoko, ideally a striker, but I don't think we're going to get one. because to back up Kane. I don't think we're going to get one. So in that case, I'll do what we're going to do and get Adama in and have Son as a striker option. And then we already have 4 wingers and 2 strikers. So I'll do that. Talk to me about Adama Traore. Is he a player you want in?
It's like 10 out of 10 for athleticism, but like 2 out of 10 for end product. But at the same time, he does cause a nuisance to the opposition. You know, the way he was knocking Tanganga over, I've never seen it. You consider Tanganga to be pretty strong, but he absolutely flattened him going past him. Haven't seen anything like it.
Yeah, Tanganga.
And as for Reggie and some of the other players, he was just like going through them like a knife through butter. I don't know if how much of that is us or how much of that is Traore, but I think he could offer something to us. I do.
Do you think,
despite the lack of end product, I still think it'd be an extra dimension to our team?
Yeah,
I do.
Do you think he offers a different enough attack to some of what Lucas offers?
Well, Lucas is like a little kind of lucky charm, isn't he? He's a little player, and he's like quick feet and can wriggle out of spaces and set off play, stuff like that. Quick feet. Traore is more of a kind of a rugby league style player, isn't he? Like the way he's built, he looks like a rugby. I've never seen a player with his physique. Have you?
No, I've never
seen a footballer with his physique.
No.
His legs, man. Jeez, his
legs. It's madness.
He is built like an absolute BSH, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible. He's unique. I can't think of a player like him. Maybe Ekin. What's his name? Akinfenwa.
He's a bit different.
But he's like a bit more podgy. But
do you think what you've seen of him at Wolves does you reckon if he came to Spurs, we could unlock something we haven't seen at Wolves in him? I feel like there's something waiting to burst out of him from a player standpoint, which no one's been able to unlock it properly yet.
A little bit like when Mane left from Southampton, it kind of unlocked a lot when he went to Liverpool, right? Possibly.
And do you think, because you saw how much attention Spurs, even though his end product isn't the best, you saw how much attention Spurs were forced to give him.
They were having to double up on him during the game at one point.
And imagine having defenders going over there and then having Kane and Son in the middle to finish the chances. He doesn't even have to be a finisher. He just needs to be an assister. That's all he needs to do. Because Kane and Son will finish for him in double fold. So So possibly it could actually be a very good signing for us.
Yeah, no, it would bring a different dimension. Definitely, I think it's worth it. I do.
But 40 million, are we overpaying?
No, I think in today's market, 40 million is about right. Actually, 40 million is not. It sounds a lot, but actually in today's market, it's the equivalent of like 7 million in 2008 or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that outrageous, 40 million.
Do you think people who are focusing on what he can't do are not focusing on what he can do?
So what
like can't finish, he's inconsistent, all this kind of stuff. Do they not focus on what he can bring to the team as opposed to what he can't?
They're focusing too much on what he can't do.
Yeah.
No, I think people are generally pretty balanced when they're being, judging him, and they can see the flaws and they can see the strengths.
But not Lucas.
That's you. You can't see that. You can't say anything good about him.
I love Lucas. I just think he suffers very similar to what Adama Traore suffers from.
No, I think more as a little bit more got a little bit more nous in the final third.
Yeah, but not enough.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Bergwijn then.
What about Bergwijn?
Well, is he frustrating you?
Yeah, he does. He is.
Do you still want to see him play?
I didn't say I don't want to see Lucas play.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, I do want to see Bergwijn.
You still want Bergwijn play? Yeah. You do.
Not maybe starting. I want to see him
I would say
rotation.
I'm going to just be honest here. Yeah.
Bergwijn's
I'm going to be honest.
Starter.
Not many people are digging out Bergwijn at the moment. And I think it's because people they're like trying to give him some hope, and like everyone wants to get behind him, and they want to see him do well. So everyone's trying to like lay off on the criticism. But if we're being honest, he is incredibly frustrating, way more frustrating in the final third.
Who was more frustrating on Sunday, Bergwijn or Lucas?
In the final third,
no,
Bergwijn, you missed that chance.
Well, Lucas didn't get a chance.
What do you mean? We're talking about in the final third.
Yeah. Where was Lucas in the final third?
He had a bad game. He looked knackered. But we're not just judging it on one game here.
I'm asking you just on Sunday.
Oh, you're trying to nitpick. You just won't have it, will you? let's be honest, Bergwijn is not doing it. He's not hurting the opposition enough in the final third. And I think a lot of fans are like holding back on that because they want him to do well. So they really want him to do well. So they're not really they're reluctant to say anything. But if we're going to be really objective about Bergwijn, it's not really happening for him either at the moment.
No, it's not.
It's not.
But I think at the start of the season he's been a lot more sharper and a lot better in the final third than he was last season. I think he's improving, and that's what people are seeing.
I think what happened was the Anfield game. So the Liverpool game last season at Anfield, I think he missed those 2 chances, and I think it really hurt his confidence, and I think that really affected him after that. And I think now what we're seeing when Bergwijn gets into the final third. Whereas before he might have played with his killer instinct, his natural instinct to sort of like, get his body position so he's like, got a chance to get the shot off. He's now erring on the side of caution and he's like shielding his body away and he's like laying it off sideways, retaining the ball. And we're seeing a little bit too much of that, I think. And so we're not really seeing the end product of him so much.
What I'm saying from the last season, comparing him...
Is that fair? Is that a fair analysis or not?
No, it's fair, but I'm just saying, comparing him to last season, I'm seeing a player who's getting into more forward positions and getting more shots off and getting in and creating more chances than he was doing last season. And yes, his finishing hasn't been there yet. Some keepers have made saves against him and stuff like that. Still, a couple of times didn't make the right decision. For example, that chance where he should have squared it to Ali and it played just behind him. Things like that are not coming off him right now. But I'm seeing improvements.
Everyone sees potential in him. We all see potential in him.
With Lucas, the difference with Lucas is he's been the same player ever since he got here. He hasn't improved at all. He's been the same player, let's be honest. Not saying for better or for worse, he's been exactly the same.
I still think he's underrated. I think he's massively underrated.
Player. He's very good at what he's good at, but he hasn't improved at all in anything. He's been here for quite a while now. He's been here since January 2018.
He's often been played out of position. When he plays through the middle, I think he's very effective.
He's only been doing that for 6 months.
I think he's very underrated.
He's only been doing that for 6 months.
I admit he looked really shagged out for some reason, didn't he, against Wolves? Awful. He looked really shagged out. No, come on, man.
He was awful.
Yeah, you love saying that, don't you?
He was.
He looked shagged out. He did.
He was awful against Wolves.
But the last 2 games, I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was great against Man City. That's the thing with Lucas. He also suffers from a consistency problem a bit for me as well. That's what I say. But Bergwijn...
But you hold a different standard for Bergwijn. When Bergwijn missed that chance, you didn't say anything.
When Bergwijn what?
When he missed that chance against Wolves, you didn't say anything on the watch-along. When he should have made it 2-0.
You mean when
against City when he missed the chance.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything about it.
What am I supposed to say?
Like what you say about Mora.
What you think if you think if Mora missed that chance, I'd be like, Mora, you donkey.
You would have looked at me and go, I told you.
Yeah, I would have said that.
Yeah, exactly. You know it. You know it with him.
That's just to get under your skin.
You know it was
That's just to get under your skin.
Look, John, he's so frustrating.
Only because I knew I would have got that reaction from you. What IP Toretta says, I think we need a playmaker. We are too reliant on Kane and Son's world-class finishing. Also, most of the goals created were created by themselves. Most goals created were created by themselves. Yeah, by Kane and Son. It's true. We need a creative player. We're definitely lacking creativity. Since Eriksen left.
What do you think about Lo Celso? Do you think he could be the next Lamella, or do you think he could actually
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Lo Celso. I like him as a player. Even in the game on Thursday, where everyone's counting on him, I actually saw more quality in him than anyone else on the pitch, apart from maybe Gil.
Yeah.
I think.
The midweek game.
Yeah, against Pacos. I'm not saying he played well. I'm just saying I saw more stuff from him than I did from anyone else. I feel like at times he was doing it by himself, just like Gil. I feel like at times they were both doing it all by themselves. It's hard to do it all by yourself. There's a reason he started for Argentina all the way to a Copa America win. He started every single game. They believe in him. I believe in him as well. I think he can be a very effective and very skillful central midfield player for us. He also has a bit of bite about him as well, so he's not a liability. I think just a bit more patience. I would say with Lo Celso, because I really believe he could be a very big player for us, a really big player. Although people expecting him to be that Lo Celso, Eriksen type player, he's never going to be that. He's a different type of player, and that's maybe where he suffers from comparisons.
He's more of a dribbler.
Yeah. He's more of a dribbler. He likes to play. I think he would suit our system on the counter attack and stuff like that. I think he would suit that. But in terms of when, he's on the edge of the area and he has to put it on a sixpence to someone coming in at the back post, like Eriksen used to do time and time again. Yeah, he can maybe do it once or twice, but he's not going to be able to do it as consistently as Eriksen was able to do. So he's not. Eriksen was a chance creation machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was unbelievable. Lo Celso, he's creative and he can create chances, but not to Eriksen's level, unfortunately.
No,
he's not
unfortunately
that kind of player.
No, I know.
So that's the thing.
But this season's going to be the make or break for Lo Celso, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless he wants to do what Lamela did and just be like a a peripheral player. But I really hope that he can step up like he did at the end of the 2019 season.
Yeah. And that season, no, the 1920 season, he was class for a lot of it. So I don't know. I think Lo Celso can be a very good player for us, and I think people are very quick. A lot of people very quick to jump on his back whenever he misplaces a pass or something. But I think he's a very good player.
Here we go. Mora's work rate is far superior to Bergwijn.
I wouldn't agree with that. I think they both have very good work rate.
No, I actually think that Bergwijn's work rate's pretty good.
I think more. I'm not saying. I think Mora's is also good.
Yeah,
but I don't
Mora's I think's got the best work rate in the club.
He's got very good. He's got very good work rate.
What do you actually do? What do people think about Bergwijn? Do you think he's? How do you rate him? Like, how do you think he's getting on? Would you want to keep him? Do you want to offload him?
We can do a poll. You can do polls.
Can we do a poll?
Yeah, you can do a poll.
Okay, how do
I do it? There is a poll function you can do.
How about we say, is Bergwijn doing enough?
Well, I don't think anyone would say yes, he is doing enough. But I think we can.
What's a good question? How would you rate him out of 10? Someone said.
How would I rate him out of 10? We're going to have 10 options. What would I? Oh, it's a question to me. What would I rate him out of 10? At the moment, around a 6. But he has a lot of potential to be 7 or 8.
Oh yeah, we can't do like 10 options, can we, for a poll? How would you do this then?
There is a poll option. I'm trying to find it.
We're doing a poll, guys.
Let me see. Oh, shit.
How about Bergwijn or Mora?
Bergwijn or Mora? Well, I never said, but I think Mora's a better player.
Do you?
Yeah.
Whoa!
What? I think Mora's a better player. I do.
Right, but clip this up, everyone. Save this. Immortalise this.
Ask me a different question. Who do I rather sell, Bergwijn or Mora?
Yeah, you'd probably sell Mora, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
No, I know you would.
I would.
Yeah.
But only because I think Bergwijn has more scope to improve than Lucas does. I don't think Lucas has any scope to improve. Oh, here it is. Here's the poll option.
Yeah, go on. Poll incoming, everyone. What do you want to say?
What's our poll going to be?
Is Bergwijn doing enough to keep his place?
Are you happy with Steven Bergwijn?
Are you happy with
Bergwijn?
Yeah. Are you happy? Here it comes, everyone.
Ready?
Yep. Here it comes. Here it come. Here it come.
Which way are you voting? Coops?
I'm not happy with him.
You're not happy.
No,
with
I'm just going to be honest. Like, I think he has been a bit of a flop so far. Unfortunately, he has.
I had a big argument with my brother in the summer. We had an argument: has Bergwijn been a flop?
I think he has.
And I said yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has been a flop so far.
I said yes. He has. I can't think you can argue that he hasn't been a flop. But I'm not saying he's a bad player or that he can't be good. But as of right now, if you sold him now, he's a flop.
Yeah, if you sold him now, he's a flop. Yeah,
yeah, I agree with that. That's what I said. And but they all.
But he has got potential. We can both see he's got potential.
Yeah. And they all. That's what everyone in the comments was saying. Oh, he's got potential. How can you judge him so early? I was like. I'm just saying, I'm not saying all those things are untrue. I'm just saying right now, he's a flop. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Right now, are you happy with Bergwijn? 62% says yes. 38% says no. They disagree with you, John.
They're just trying to abuse me. I'm sure if you said it,
I reckon if you said you're happy with Bergwijn, it'd be the other way around. I reckon.
Yeah, of course.
What's more Malice says? Spurs fans love to underachieve. Don't disagree with that.
You just said Kane doesn't show up for finals, and now you said it's Levy's fault. You metal? Yeah, I'm metal, Paul. I'm really metal.
Essa Al Shamari says Bergwijn is still young. Lucas is at the end of his career. He says Bergwijn is still young. Lucas is at the end of his career.
How old is Mora?
29.
Does that mean Kane's at the end of his career as well then?
No, because I think the way Kane plays and the way Lucas plays, Kane has a lot more staying power than Lucas does. How many players did you see do what Lucas does, right, at 35? Or 34 even? Not many. How many players can do what Kane does?
Well, there's not many. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any other players with his work rate, full stop.
I'm saying it's easier for Kane to do what he does at 33 or 34 than Lucas to do what he does at 33, 34.
Yeah, possibly because he's got the technique, the finish. He's a finisher.
That's what I'm saying. It's different. Like goalkeepers last longer because they have a different role. Lucas, I think, Aaron Lennon. There's a reason he burnt out at 30 because he couldn't keep doing what he did at 30 years of age.
Yeah.
But So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
no,
Bale is still not saying at the top of his game, but he can still be an effective player because he wasn't only always just pace.
He had technique as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
and
I hear
that's what I'm saying about Kane. 67% say yes.
They're happy.
You're all happy with Bergwijn. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The people have spoken, John.
Yeah, but you just said he was a flop as well. So you're making it sound like you've won some moral victory here.
I backed him from day one. I backed him from day one.
I mean, I would let me say this, because people think I'm being negative. I'm not. I'm just trying to be honest.
Nelly.
I'm trying to be honest here. But what I will say is, I will give Dyer and Sanchez some credit at the moment. Let's talk about that. I would say
Let me ask you this, John. Are we right not to pursue another centre back?
I don't know why. What's the deal with Rodon at the moment?
He's injured.
Yeah, but he didn't play he's
injured.
Didn't play in the Arsenal game, did he? Wasn't even.
Oh,
featured.
He came on in the Arsenal game.
Was he? Yeah. When did he get injured?
Someone says the bet is on We Are Tottenham TV memes. I'm gonna have to look at that.
The bet is on We Are Tottenham TV memes. Brilliant.
Is it? Is there evidence of the bet?
Anyway, whilst you're doing that,
I'm looking at it now, 1 sec.
Okay, you do that. I'm going to ask.
I don't see it.
Okay, whilst he's doing that, are you happy with Sanchez and Dyer, or do you want to see us bring in another centre back, or do you think they're doing enough right now, or is this just sort of like papering over the cracks because we've won the last couple of games, we've got away with it? What do you think? New centre back or not? I'd like to know what everyone thinks about that. Someone just put Stevie B is allergic to goal nets. I like that. Jan Tran, that's funny.
I think you might as well, but 20 quid on it. Sure.
What's that?
Listen, I'm happy to put a bet on. I think Bruno will beat Kane to Player of the Year.
Oh, there you go.
I think you might.
Yeah, but there was more.
Yeah.
20 quid on it.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. We're not allowed to touch.
Yeah, but you said there was no bet. There was a bet.
No, there was a bet, but you didn't win.
You're like, I can't remember it. No, but
I'm taking that £20 back.
No, guys.
You didn't win.
I'm sure at the end of that we say. I'm sure at the end of the show we say it doesn't matter who, as long as it's not Kane. We say at the end of the show.
Right. I mean, I'd love it if...
Hang on, no. The end of that show.
I'm playing it.
Yeah.
1 minute. This is the clip.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm happy to put a bet on. I think Bruno will beat Kane to Player of the Year.
That's the bet.
I think you might as well.
No, but don't you remember saying it's going to be Kane? And that's what the bet was.
Right.
I mean, I'd love it if... Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
You didn't win.
Oh,
in fact,
no.
in fact, Kane probably got higher than Bruno in the ratings for Player of the Year, so I should probably win.
But I should probably win. Say it doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's not Kane. That's the 20 bet.
We
did say that. No, back me up, people. Find the clip. If you can find that part of me saying it, I'll give you £10 of it. I'll PayPal you £10 of that £20, so you can find where we sum that up.
You're wrong. I can't believe you tried to nick £20 off me just then. Gunneth.
I'll find that clip.
Unbelievable, John. Unbelievable. Talking about centre-backs again.
Yeah, so do you think that they're doing enough or not?
Look, Dyer and Sanchez, right? I got to give credit where credit's due. So Dyer and Sanchez are doing a great job at the beginning of the season. They've been near faultless, apart from that one slip where he nearly let Adama in and they nearly scored for Dyer. Dyer and Sanchez have been great. Great performance against Man City. 2 clean sheets. You got to remember, right? Nuno has only come in 6 weeks ago. I was telling this to my brother. He can only judge. His role as a manager. Managers do different things. Mourinho's not like this. He's not going to just give everyone a clean slate. He'll have preconceived notions. But maybe some managers do. They come in. Everyone's on a clean slate. They start from 0, and they try and earn his trust. And what is Nuno supposed to do when Sanchez is playing some unbelievable games? He's supposed to say, "Oh, you played so well, but I still want to ship you out and get someone else in." He could do that, but he's opted to go for the other option where he says, "You're playing really well for me. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to give you. I believe in you. I believe in your abilities as a centre back. You came in for big money a few years ago, hasn't quite lived up to it, but I actually believe you have enough quality to play for me." Am I going to start ragging on? Am I going to start criticising Nuno for going down that way? You could say, "Oh, look what Sanchez has done for 2-3 years. He's always making mistakes. He's doing all that kind of stuff." But Nuno's only been here for 6 weeks. So what is he supposed to judge Sanchez on all his past mistakes, or is he supposed to judge Sanchez on how he's been since he's come here?
So how about a second poll? Should we give Dyer and Sanchez a second chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I still see their limitations.
Yeah.
And I know that Dyer for me is never going to be a top centre back. He'll look great for 89 minutes, then he's always got those gaffes in him. That I don't think that's going to come out of his game personally. I really don't. But I think he's getting away with it at the moment because we do look structurally a lot stronger. So he's less exposed than we were last season. So last season, because we were more exposed defensively, I think he was getting a lot more shit thrown at him. You know. So I think that's why he came unstuck. But I think now structurally looks stronger, so he's probably going to be exposed less. But I think when those opportunities do arise, I think you're still going to notice the same clumsy mistakes.
Potentially.
I don't think you can take that out of Moon Boots' game.
But what is Nuno supposed to do? Should he demand they be sold before the season?
I think you just got to keep it now. You've got to keep it as it is because you know they haven't made any mistakes yet. Is he right
to try and put some belief into them?
Give them belief, but at the same time, know that they've got it in them, some clangers in them, you know. So just keep half an eye on it. But if it's not broke, don't fix it at the moment. But I would say just don't stick all your eggs into one basket.
But do you think in a perfect world, the coaching, because we know Sanchez was up for sale.
Phil, what am I saying that's so unreasonable there? So I'm saying that Dyer and Sanchez, at the moment they're doing well, but we know that Dyer has brain farts in him. We've seen that throughout his whole entire Spurs career. He's got those gaffes in him. He's got those brain farts. We saw it all last season, and we've seen it so many times. We've seen it the season before when he gave the penalty away against Pogba. We've seen silly back passes, stupid little things he does. He runs off for a shit halfway through a game. He nearly breaks Son's ankles in training. He's a clumsy guy. Now, is he doing okay at the moment? Yep, he's sort of, they 2 clean sheets, going fine, but is Dyer that suddenly become like a Superman overnight? No. So how is that unreasonable? What I'm saying there.
What I was going to say is, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that. But is in a perfect world, would the coaching staff and the hierarchy not have been distracted? Should they have not been distracted by the first 2 games and gone ahead with their previous plans, which before the game, most of the summer Sanchez has been up for sale. Yeah. Right. It's widely reported 30 million we'd accept a bid for 30 million with Sanchez. Now, we've shelved those plans after these first 2 games. Is that the right thing to do? Should we have carried on saying, no, we're still up for sale and 30 million will sell him? Or are we right to say he started the season well, there's no point gambling on another centre-back, so we might as well keep him for another year? For Sanchez.
Sanchez is another one. I don't think he's ever going to be a top defender, is he? But I think he could be good enough. But I don't know.
Maybe with Romero as a partner.
For me, yeah. I mean, we can do better. We can do better than both of them, can't we?
That's the thing. We can do better. We should still sell him.
I think I'd like him to be a 3rd choice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just feel a bit of sympathy from where Nuno's coming from, because I don't think he wants to come in and start alienating people straight away. He wants to get. Yeah, I know. He wants to instill belief in people.
Yeah,
that's
of course,
what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like people might be criticising.
Which is the opposite of last season, where Mourinho, if they had a bad game, they'd be out.
Yeah, it's
the opposite way of managing.
But I think Mourinho thought he was walking into a dressing room where people would be able to handle that, and we're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And maybe that's what we need, a bit of someone around telling him, look, you can do this, you can play for me. And people might not like it because it means that we have a player who has let us down in the past, but maybe he can find a new level. You just got to hope. That's what we got to hope, unfortunately.
And what about Romero? Someone's just sent in a super chat saying, are you worried that he could be a flop?
No. Look, anyone can be a flop, but I'm not worried just based on... I know people looking at that game saying, oh, look, he made these fouls, he's going to be a flop. I think...
Thanks, Joe Burr.
I think I'm confident in the way he defends, and that's exactly how we want to defend as a team. He could be perfect for it, and I think I'm not worried about him just yet. I think it's going to be an adaptation. It's going to be an adaptation period, but I'm willing to stick it out because I think he's got so much quality, and I think this guy. I'm not saying he's going to be best in the league, but I think he's going to help our defence massively.
Matthew Garalfa says John is usually wrong, but he's absolutely right about Dyer and Sanchez. Well, I was right about Mourinho. I was right about Winks. I was right about Bale. I was right about the league position last
What
season.
What are you right about Bale for?
Well, I said he was going to be. He wouldn't be the player that everyone thinks he is. I've won all the predictions against him.
Not won all of them. Not all of them. I have to think of one I won.
Rodon. Rodon. What do you think about
Kane Player of the Year ahead of Bruno? I was right on that. Rodon.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Rodon?
Had great Euros, and I think whenever he's been played, he's been looked okay.
Yeah. But do you think he's getting enough of a crack of the whip?
No,
or not?
he's not.
No,
he's not.
Would you like to see him play instead of Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, because I think he's actually a defender who is a lot more comfortable on the ball and has a lot more composure than Sanchez. And also, when he's doing the defensive side in terms of like clearances and stuff, I don't think in terms of one-on-one defending, like when Sanchez is square up against someone, I actually think Sanchez is probably stronger. But in terms of like when balls come in the box and he has to make clearances and gets his head on things and be strong, I think Rodon's better in that kind of stuff, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
I
would quite like to see Rodon play.
Yeah,
more.
Me too. Maybe him, Romero.
I think he's been sort of pushed out of the picture, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's been injured and he's young as well. He's never played Premier League, so it's I can kind of understand it, but also I think it's about time he starts getting more game time. I don't know if you saw him in the Euros. He was brilliant for Wales in the Euros.
This is the defining season for him. He's got to start breaking in now, otherwise I can't see if he ever does. But
James Baker says, I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's two people with different opinions that are challenging each other, entertaining and productive. Thank you, James. Thank you for sending in your appreciation.
You are
much
okay.
appreciated.
Ignore the haters, Jonathan Mills. Thanks, Jonathan.
See, you get
the army. I just like to be honest. I know a lot of people just don't like it because if you say anything that isn't like positive, people get their backs up. But I just like to call it as I see it. You know, I'm happy to call that Nuno. I think I've got a better feeling about Nuno than I did with Mourinho, as you know. I think Nuno for me. I think he's a better man manager. I think that's pretty self-evident. And I think he's someone that could help the younger players come through a lot better than Mourinho did. Mourinho had more of a going to war mentality, which I think was suited to the Premiership about 20 years ago. But I think we're entering into a new generation of people, men, you know, where they're not even millennials anymore. They're like the Generation Zs. And I think they are a lot more sensitive. They need a lot more of an arm around the shoulder. They need their egos massaged a lot more now, whereas Mourinho was more about going to war. If you're not making this sign, I'm going to drop you, and you have to really work yourself back up. But I think these players these days, they're a bit weaker mentally. I think they're a lot more sensitive. So I think you need a better man manager, and I can actually see that Nuno, in the same kind of mould as Poch, I think Nuno is that kind of plays the kind of lovable uncle type to the players, you know, and I think they will like that, and they'll all work hard for him, I think, and I can see that more so than when Mourinho joined, definitely. So I've got a lot of, even though I don't think we won't necessarily be more successful than under Mourinho, but I do think that we'll see a lot more players shine under him, like players like Dele Alli. I think I said that at the beginning of the season. I think you're going to see him shine a bit more this season. So players like that
unlock some more potential.
I think so. Yeah,
team.
Yeah.
And maybe they can be unshackled as they were a bit. Maybe they'll still be a bit shackled because I think Nuno's quite demanding.
Do you remember last season if you go and watch our first 3 HOTSPARs, they were all about Sim trying to say there's nothing wrong with the structure. It's just we can't defend set pieces. And I was trying to make the point there's a structural issue at the club.
I think the structure. Do you remember that? I still think it could have worked.
There was a structural issue because we weren't under Mourinho. We weren't aggressive enough. We weren't pressing high enough, which meant that the back line was getting exposed too much.
I think
can you see that now?
No, I can. Yeah, I can. But I think under different circumstances it could have worked. But I think the circumstances he was in, he was wrong to do what he did. Mourinho to set up the way he did.
Yeah,
and
but that was my whole point in those HOTSPARs was to say that there was a structural issue at the club, the way we were playing. A lot of people said, but you can't press because the defenders are so poor. But now we know, same defenders, you can do that. Because we've got Sanchez and Dyer there, but it does work when you play a little bit more aggressively. It takes the sting out of the defence. Takes the pressure off the defence.
What I would say is that Sanchez and Dyer were under a lot of pressure against Wolves, and it was very similar to what we saw under Mourinho. I would say very similar. It wasn't that different, and they held strong.
We got away with it actually against Wolves. To be fair, we did. Yeah, we did. And we weren't, and we could have been a little bit more aggressive, but we weren't. But yeah. But against Man City, I thought it was a totally different.
Yeah,
game.
Against City it was different.
Totally different setup. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the Nuno era. Anyway,
yeah.
Are you
looking forward to this season? Yeah, I think now Kane's staying as well. I think that's a shadow over the club we didn't need anymore, and I'm happy that's now under. That's gone over. I'm happy he's staying. I think going forward into the season, hopefully, the next 6 days of the window will be busy for us because I think we desperately need a lot of action these next 6 days in the window. So as long as we can get some decent business done, I am kind of looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do under this new management and what he can unlock in them. And I am quite a bit excited, but we all know with Spurs, it doesn't take a lot to get us plunging us back into crisis, does it? So
no, I know that's
a few bad results probably will be, but hopefully we can overachieve and do more than anyone thought we could.
Yeah. And so I know you've already done your predictions, but one prediction that I'm going to make, I said this before the season started, if you remember, I think Arteta's going to be sacked this season.
Yeah, I think so.
I do think Arteta's going to be sacked this season, and I think he could even be the first to go. And I said that even before the season started.
He should have been sacked last season.
Yeah.
He should have been sacked last season.
I don't know, that's a prediction that I'll make. Don't know if you want to stick your neck out on any predictions.
Well, I said I'm going to go... Well, that's sticking your neck out, is it?
Well, it's probably not now. It's not, but like at the time it was, And I think Arsenal will finish no better than 10th.
And I reckon Spurs are going to win a trophy.
You do? You think they will? Which trophy?
FA Cup.
You think we'll win the FA Cup?
I reckon
we haven't even got to an FA Cup final since '91.
I reckon that's going to change. Nuno's going to do it for us.
All right.
Well, I hope you're right. I think that's it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Yep. Thank you, John, for joining for another HOTSPAR.
Thanks for all the abuse in the chat section. I was like trying not to look.
It was a pleasure having you back. I hope you enjoyed your return in the HOTSPAR. I hope it was constructive for you.
Yeah, no, it was nice. Yeah,
good.
And I still think I'd win that 20 though.
Come on.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I?
No, because there was more to it on the video.
There wasn't more to it. Find more to it, and I'll agree. There wasn't more to it.
Anyway.
In fact, I think if anything, you owe me 20. I think.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I would say. Yeah, I think. Anyway.
John,
lovely
to be continued.
This will be continuing off camera. Don't you worry. But I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. John will be back in the studio tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for joining us as always. It's going to be a weekly show again. The HOTSPAR is returning, so looking forward to seeing everyone soon. Like, subscribe, and comment, and as always, come on, you Spurs.